Check me out. Look, I know perfect timing feels like I'm too late. And I know I'm still great in spite of my mistakes. You know it's authentic every rhyme I say.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? All right, I'm sitting here looking at the microphone and forgetting that I have to look at the camera because it's been a while. Why has it been a while? We're not actually going to get into that right now, but definitely going to make sure we create space to tell that story at some point. So why are we here today? Yeah, it's a loaded question that don't know if we have all the time for, but in this conversation, having a conversation with my man, Craig Tiede. All right, so when I first met Craig through this thing that we'll talk about, which is Darden, he just had this unique vibe, right? And not somebody that I just always talk to, but anytime I engage with him, I get something of value from that experience. And one thing that we always try to make sure we do in this space is, bring conversations with people that are really thoughtful, have conversations with people that are really honest. And selfishly, I get to have conversations with people that inspire me and that I look forward to learning from, that I appreciate learning from, and I get to capture this and have that, right? So I need notes because my brain works weird. So as we lead to graduation from Darden here in a few months, I wanted to say, hey, how do I make sure I capture these stories as much as possible before I am no longer with these people on a consistent basis? So now we're starting with Craig here today, but over the next few months here, we're going to be amplifying some other stories of people here in this program that again, I continue to be inspired by, both through our podcast episodes as well as Athlete of the Week. So now that, that was loud, definitely going to have to edit that loud ass. So now that I've kind of brought you all up to speed enough to get to this point, I want to introduce my guy, Craig. Imagine a crowd going crazy. That's what's happening right now. So,
hello. Thank you for having me.
I like Craig. I have in notes. Make fake clapping sounds. Introduce Craig. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
It's great to be here.
Glad to have you here, man.
First time caller, long time listener.
I love it. Well, first of all, welcome to the PTM fam. PTM is Perfect Timing Multisport. Gotta get away from using acronyms. So welcome to the PTM fam, though. How you feeling today?
I'm great. Saturday. We're here in beautiful Washington D.C. The Arlington side.
Yeah. I have in my notes about that because I was writing. I'm we're here in DC. I'm we're actually not, and there are people that may be stupid.
We don't need to split hairs or get into geographic semantics, but there's some people who will die on the eastern shores of Potomac for lack of a accurate pin drop.
Yes, that and
But you and I don't live here. Well, you used to live here, but
I did.
But you don't anymore. So we're totally exempt, I think.
So where do you live?
Currently, I just relocated to Boston, Massachusetts.
I love it. I remember growing up playing AAU and we had a tournament in Boston and AAU basketball, and we had a tournament in Boston. And I was I love this city. I gotta get here. So haven't been, never lived there, but I love it. How you like it?
It's growing on me. I'm getting used to it.
I love that.
I spent many times had gone there in previous professional capacities, just for kind of fly by night kind of whirlwind, 24-hour kind of stints of duty. But I think with any city, the more you spend more time and exist and live and breathe and kind of taste it, it kind of starts kind of growing on you in certain ways that you didn't think possible. It's sometimes subtle, sometimes not, but it doesn't really become a part of you until you kind of willingly let it. But at least you kind of walk around. You can kind of immerse yourself into things that cities have and do, and it starts kind of unfolding itself to you. So
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful fable.
I love that. Like you said, it's growing on you. So just giving that time, right?
Yeah, like anything in life, give it time.
So, question for you. You mentioned a little bit about us being here in DC. How are classes going?
Good. I don't know how much your viewership has followed you along for your your heroic journey and pathway through here, but we are now kind of downshifting into the final stretch. So this is quarter 9. This is the second residency of the quarter. So it's going fast. I think faster than I would like at points, but it's bittersweet. But I'm happy with my curriculum choices this quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do a intentional kind of like less is more approach this time.
Yeah.
Instead of maxing out, so I'm focused on kind of 2 courses that I'm very fulfilled with right now. One of them is digital operations, and the other is entrepreneurial thinking.
I love it. I know our guy Brett Tiede will appreciate you bringing that, like, what this quarter is, what that context is, to the listeners. But so yeah, thinking about that, like that context. As Craig mentioned, him and I are here for this program here at Darden, and we do have class this weekend. And I know we've talked about it before, especially during the CEO leadership weekend leading to that. It was funny as we were like finishing that. You and I were both getting our book signed, so I love that moment. By
two Darden fanboys.
by Dean Scott Beardsley. So another thing we'll probably get into at some other point. But thinking of your that journey, like I'm curious, like what brought you to Darden? Like how are you here? Not how are you here? That's weird. But like what brought you here to come to this program? And also thinking of just level setting. Tell people a little bit about yourself. Who are you? How'd you get to Darden and who are you?
Craig Tiede, Sagittarius, green eyes. No, I think, in all intents and purposes, I think my background, I think, like anyone else's, it's all its own kind of tale of, kind of, staggering genius as well as, kind of heroic kind of, I don't know, iniquities here and there, but I think for the most part, I had kind of like a 2-pronged career thus far. I started in earnest in the music entertainment industry, and then kind of segued into consumer marketing essentially. And I think what initially brought me to Darden, to this room, into this pod right now, in this meta moment we're having. I think at Wanda was like kind of a whirlwind romance with the Commonwealth of Virginia, first and foremost, obviously. But, I think secondly, I think, all these programs are so like, especially like the top ones at whatever level, whether you're doing executive, whether you're full-time, part-time, it's still, it's still across the carry for everybody. You're still doing it and putting in the time and the commitment, whether financially or, emotionally, psychologically, academically, vice versa, because you're putting your life, on the line and your career on the line, and, also your relationships with, family, friends, loved ones, partners, dogs, cats, whatever. And, you have to be super intentional about it. So I think when I hit the apex of, interpersonally and professionally, and, I think like a psychological reckoning of COVID, I had kind of been, I think, toying with the notion or like the inception point of like, that's something you have to do. Because when I left the music business and kind of, quit cold turkey to some degree, and kind of lit the match and, watched it burn and walked away and kind of went into marketing side of things, I just kept realizing there was kind of a ceiling to that world too, to some degree. Obviously, like
to the marketing world.
Yeah, to some degree, and like I wasn't, I think, of lacking, a certain skill set, hard or soft. It was more just like I saw kind of some white space. I just kind of felt that, I could fill in some capacity.
And when you say white space, I just want to make sure I'm clarifying. It's white space like within your own journey, right?
Yeah, I think part journey, but also part like there was a certain kind of divide or like a chasm that I knew that needed to kind of be bridged. Not from necessarily a skill set standpoint, but just like a wherewithal, like a confidence boost, an injection of like, just different perspectives and like